Hey, what's up? CMZ News here again to film another recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 12, Episode 11. So I am back 2 videos, back to back. I'm so excited that I was able to actually do this. I am just getting off work, poor lighting in here, but we're going to do it. So we start off with Dorit and Brenna getting a telephone call, and Lisa is explaining how she, Erica, and Garcelle all have COVID, and Dorit does not, and so she's free to go to Kyle's house because Kyle is having a charity dinner. It's the My Hands in You fundraiser, or My Hands in Yours fundraiser that's put on by Kyle, that's going to benefit Children's Hospital LA charity. So they're talking and they're just kind of just catching up. They've both are sick, Rena's sick. She's on the mend though. And then we get a shot over to Kyle's house, and first scene we see the legend Jamie Lee Curtis, who it's so cute because she's known Kyle since she was a kid, since they filmed the very first Halloween a million years ago, not that long ago, but over 40 years ago. And, she gives her like this motherly kiss and kisses her on the head a couple times. And Jamie just walks in looking like a boss, looking beautiful in an all white suit. And you know what? I love Jamie Lee Curtis. So on top of Halloween, I've loved her in True Lies, Christmas with the Cranks, Knives Out. That was like recent, I believe is what it's called. So, Jamie Lee, she goes way back. Obviously, her father's a legend as well. So we stan Jamie Lee Curtis. And, they're just talking, and she's, they're setting the lunch table, because they're gonna have a lunch for this charity. They do a flashback though, and shows that for this charity, Kyle and Maurizio are considered first families at Children's Hospital, which means they have a very specific level of giving, which I equated that to mean they have given a lot of money, and they're building a beautiful play area. So I think it's just really awesome. Obviously, these women are in a position where they can be very charitable. They have a lot of money, and they donate a lot. Obviously, they get like really good tax breaks, but that's okay, because listen, honey, I take my stuff down to the Goodwill and I do my part too. And I, do my little fundraiser stuff, donate to different causes and things as they come about. If there's a national disaster, I am giving a little money for lots of different charities. So we all do our part regardless of our financial situation. So the ladies arrive, and before they got there, though, they're like sitting the lunch table, and Jamie's putting her swag bags and things that she's got for the ladies, and they set the lunch table, and Kyle, being shady, sits Diana and Sutton next to each other. But once Sutton and everybody gets there, they're like, okay, we're not going to sit next to you. I'm not sitting next to Diana. So they switch it up. Cherie ends up actually sitting next to Sutton, and her freaking eyelash gets messed up. So this was kind of funny. So literally, I don't know who had the glue, but either Cherie bought the glue or Sutton had it on her. And so she starts gluing Cherie's eyelash. Jamie freaking Lee Curtis gets up, tells Sutton stop, because Sutton was like making a mess of it, and she's all sitting there like freaking like looking for something to make the glue. She's like, helping Cherie like glue her eyelash on. I'm like, this is crazy. That's a funny story. That's a great dinner story. One time Jamie Lee Curtis helped me fix my lash. I'm like, oh my gosh. So they're sitting at the table. They're kind of eating lunch. There was like the filet mignon option, and then there was something else they said, and I want to say like alabaster. It was like something. I'm like, what is that? Must have been the fish. They all were picking it. I always choose steak. If it's chicken or steak, I choose steak, because I feel like I eat chicken all the time, various forms, ground turkey. I'm choosing steak when I go somewhere. So I thought that was interesting. They all chose fish. Dorit and Diana, though, have like a little sidebar, and she's all, oh, so I heard you talk to Sutton. Dorit is telling Diana's like, Sutton, she offends my space. I had to scrub my body when I was done with her. And Dorit's like, oh, wow. I'm like, Diana, okay. So they get to the charity event, and Jamie Lee is showing them the items that are in the bag, or that's for purchase or something. And It's like a tumbler, a windshield wiper, and literally Dorit is like, amazing. Everything she hands up, it's like, she's all, oh, this ticket. She's all chic, so chic. Like every single thing she, like this glass, like so chic. Everything is so chic, so amazing. A dog leash. She's like, stop it right now, Dorit. Stop it right now. I can't even do her voice because it's like, I don't think I've ever seen Dorit be this excited about like some basic stuff. Like that's not, I don't know, something really expensive. So it was kind of funny. Kyle advises that she's going to actually give $25,000 towards My Hand in Yours. Diana decides to match it. So it was a really great event. Jamie leaves. The ladies start. They kind of go to two separate rooms. I don't know if I mentioned, but Crystal was also there, obviously. Then you get like in one of Kyle's little seating rooms, which is really great that she has all these little rooms where you can just kind of like chat and stuff. Cherie, Sutton, and Dorit are discussing the Diana lunch. And Cherie just straight up tells Sutton, like, look, why are you always in trouble? What is going on? Sutton's like, I don't know. And she goes, well, how is it working for you? And she's like, it's not working. I'm just going to be quiet. Dorit is like, look, I think you questioned Diana that she was on bed rest, which she did. And they did the flashback. And she was like, so you're supposed to be on bed rest, but you're here. Interesting, or something to that effect. And, if you are Diana and you're going through what Diana's gone through, you don't want to hear someone questioning why you got up and you showed up. Nobody should question, like, when someone's going through something, grieving, why you did something through that process. So I can see why, now Diana kind of pushed back a lot. And then we get another scene that's pretty emotional, actually, with Diana, Crystal, and Kyle discussing Crystal's eating ED, I won't say it, her disorder. Crystal had posted an emotional post on Instagram that she was struggling that day with body image issues. And I mean, I don't know anybody who hasn't been there. And she was just kind of talking about how right now with the holidays is a very triggering time for that. And then Kyle starts to relate to her. I thought it was interesting that it was okay for Kyle to talk about something that she's gone through and opened up to us in 2018 when Kyle had been on the show for years. Never mentioned that she had, but now she mentions that she did. Anyway, so, she was talking to Crystal, sharing her experience, saying how she never wanted her daughters to struggle with that. And they start kind of asking, like, what triggers this for Crystal? And Crystal is just saying that it's not necessarily always how she looks. It's a control thing. And, she mentioned that she would never order pasta, but when she sees someone eating pasta, she envies it. And I just thought to myself, like, that's wild, So I don't struggle with those issues in that way. I definitely struggle with trying to lose weight in other ways, but I have struggles with, food trying to lose weight, but not with what Crystal's going through. So it's kind of, interesting to hear her say those things. And I don't have any experience or really know a lot about those disorders except for just the quick things we hear. And, Crystal goes back to, being the tallest girl in her class when she was 11, being, the only minority in, all white school, and just how she felt so different. And so, it was a very emotional scene. She starts crying. And then the girls actually, they pull themselves together. They go back to the other room and they're like, okay, what are you guys talking about? So we get back to Sutton, Diana's lunch, and, all the girls are there. Crystal, Dorit, all the girls that were able to attend who don't have COVID right now. And Diana mentions that she's not in a space to accept Sutton's apology. Sutton's like acknowledges that she knows Diana's not in a space. Then it gets brought to everyone's attention that although Diana had the miscarriage, it was more recent than everyone realizes. And her baby was set to be due around the time they started filming and actually went to Mexico. So it was a very emotional time for Diana. And she said, she pushed herself to go onto this Mexico trip because she didn't want to be at home mourning the baby that should have been in her arms. And she drank a little bit more than she should have. She pushed herself more. And she said, I sent a nasty text message and I said some mean things to you on the plane. And she goes, I started bleeding on the plane. I'm raw, is what she said, physically and emotionally. And it did humanize. I mean, not that I didn't think Diana was human, but it did put into perspective that this is a woman who is grieving the loss. And that is a very serious thing. And I felt bad for her, and I could understand. And Sutton again just said, listen, I was trying to connect and it was rocky, and I should have done it better. And she said, look, when you're ready to talk more, if you want to, we can, but let's just squash it. So they agreed to squash it. And I was glad, because I'm like, honestly, like at the end of the day, they just don't mesh well, and let's just move on. So, and they end in the lunch. And I'm thinking, that was a really long scene, actually. Like, that was like, I want to say like nearly half the episode almost. So then we zip back over to Rinna and talking to Erica, and they both are still sick, and they are talking about how they're recovering. Rinna seems like she's more on the mend. Erica still's got 2 days left in isolation. Erica, Rinna was decorating and getting ready for Christmas, because it's Christmas time, but Rinna wasn't feeling well. So it sounded like she was kind of late getting her decor up. And Erica mentioned that, this is a sad time for her too, because she remembers like decorating the house and celebrating with Tom and her son. And, I'm going through it too. And I thought, I love when Erica gives little snippets of her actually being a mother, and like, that she was married to Tom for so long. I mean, she says, of course, I love my husband. I was married to him, but it's like, when you hear her, I'm picturing her getting the house decorated, having her son there. And I would also assume Tom's other kids would also be, his kids would be there and everything. But I said, okay, that was a very real moment. And she probably only really has those real moments with Rinna. I mean, we're seeing some real raw, wild behavior from her, but like the emotional talk, she's not really, she's ice queen. She doesn't do that. So they're talking about a new magazine cover, though. I guess Harry Hamlin bought home a magazine cover, and that's like an article about Erica's lawsuits. And Erica was like, it hurts. They call me ambitious. Would they call me ambitious? What should they say? That I was a meek wife, that I was a accommodating wife. I don't know. They put ambitious as if that was a bad thing, and it's not. As we know, Erica stood by Tom's side, lawsuits aside. She was his wife. She was at all the law events, and then she decided in her 40s that she was going to be a pop star, and they made that happen. How they made that happen, I don't know, honey. It's in courts. They're figuring it out. But she also mentioned that due to the legalities and legal issues, like she cannot divorce Tom right now, because low-key she'd have to pay him alimony. She's like, oh, I'll still stay married to him. And I guess Tom still calls her and everything too. So she's like, he's in the care facility. And I like to hear that she does talk to him. I know I would think you would be very upset, but if you were truly married, this was a true marriage for 20 plus years, and I thought her whole story of how she left him and they divorced and all that was wild, but I would think there should still be some love. Like, regardless if it was a sugar daddy baby situation, this man took care of you, perhaps with other people's money, for many, many years. So, that scene wraps. We get to another scene of Diana getting her house ready for the Christmas party that she is throwing. She shares that in Yugoslavia, it's a communist country, there's no religious holidays of any kind allowed. So the first time she experienced Christmas was when she was a refugee in London. So now she celebrates really big, and I think we can understand that. We see Asher, I think his name is, her man, and he's got like a lot of opinions and is, really has a lot of opinions about decorating the house. And then we I don't know, it wasn't that interesting. It was okay, but I feel like every scene Diana, it's never just, it's like there's something, I don't know, it's like not showboaty, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's just weird. I don't know. I have to really think about that. But we go to Kathy's, and Kyle is coming to have lunch with Kathy. Kathy has a different tree in each room. She had just had Architectural Digest there. To be honest, I really didn't think her decor was that nice. I mean, it was kind of like, which I did think like, oh, maybe this Christmas I'll line my door with, my Dollar Tree freaking wreaths or whatever. But she had kind of like wreaths everywhere. I don't know. I thought, I would kind of maybe expect a little bit more from Kathy Hilton, but it was, whatever. So Kyle gets in, we meet the lady, aka Paula, who is preparing the lunch. And they start talking about Christmas. Kathy mentions like she's having a hard time getting things delivered or finding material because of, you know, the pandemic. Someone peed on her sofa. That was really bizarre. Didn't really get much story about that. But the star of that whole scene was two things. Kathy clearly has blocked Kyle, so I thought that was hilarious because Kyle's like getting out her phone, like, Kathy, I've called you multiple times. Like, look at all the missed calls. Like, you're not answering. She's like, well, call me right now. She calls her. It doesn't even ring. It goes straight to voicemail. Kathy has clearly blocked her. The second thing is they're eating the lunch is a baked potato and like caviar, which I've seen caviar, and like the caviar I've seen, it usually looks a little bit more minced. This honey was like really big, beautiful, like fish ball caviar, probably like really, really top quality, the kind of caviar you want to try if you're gonna try caviar. And you know, she puts it in a baked potato. I've never seen that. I've seen it on chips, or not chips, correction, like crackers of some sort, or like baguettes, but I've never seen it on a baked potato. But I ain't rich, so that's probably why. But they have like this, and I love a good baked potato, but you know, I would definitely try it, and it looked good actually. So they didn't really talk about much. It's kind of, we're shooting the shit a little bit, and it was a nice light scene. Back at Diana's party, it is party day, and it actually does look really great. Diana's house really isn't my style, but it's very, I guess it's modern. I don't know. I don't necessarily have a style, but I think it's a little like high-tech looking, but it was decorated really nice. She had a lot of decor inside, tons of trees, and it looked good. Diana's wearing an all black sparkly dress. All of her children are there. Her two olders, her baby, and her son's girlfriend. And guests are arriving. The first one to arrive is Crystal, or they highlight, I think, is Crystal. And she's wearing a really, 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 really short green dress, which I'm like, why are you wearing, like, that dress was really short. It was just like, Crystal, are you even going to be able to, like, can't even lift your hands, you know? Erica shows up wearing a white and black fur, looking like Cruella de Vil, and she knew it. It was kind of funny when she came in. Then we've got Garcelle makes a beautiful entrance wearing like this gold like shimmy thing, and she looks very festive, brings a gift for Diana's daughter. It was really sweet, and she looked great as usual. Kathy Hilton arrives, and it was funny because Diana's like, you know, I know Kathy as Paris' mom because I'm friends with Paris, so she's kind of like a mother figure. So, oops, phone was saying. So I thought that was kind of funny that she said that. Then the main thing that happened at this time was that Garcelle goes over to Crystal and Erica. They're talking, and Garcelle actually, I feel like, I don't know, made this comment. I don't think this is really a comment. Maybe she wasn't probably thinking, but the first thing she says to Crystal is, you look really thin. And she compliments that she likes her legs, and then she looks thin. Then this leads into them asking to Erica starting to ask questions about Crystal's struggles with food. And Crystal mentions that the holidays are weird because it's a lot of food. Garcelle chimes in, yep, it's a lot of food. And Erica's like, look, I'm going to be really ignorant here. Do you like, she starts asking her questions. To be honest, I really wasn't offended at the questions Erica asked. I think she said a couple questionable statements, but I do think Garcelle also shouldn't have said what she said about commenting. I don't know. Maybe you just, I don't know. I've never had someone who had that, but I think like you're telling her she looks really thin. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that could trigger something. I don't know. But Erica's like, look, you know, when you eat, do you like the food? You know, do you eat and feel bad? Crystal's like, you know, yeah, you know, she's like, how do you feel? She's like I want it out of me. And then Erica's like, oh, well, could you just take a laxative? And then it kind of comes out that, you know, Crystal purges it, and Erica's like, well, I would rather poop it out. And it was just kind of like, are you giving her advice? Like, this is really probably not the best conversation. But I will say, in Erica's defense, she did say, look, I'm, you know, that she didn't know. She don't know what the right thing is to say. Okay. Garcelle had some very strong statements about it in the confessional. She was like, are you kidding me? Like, I can't believe she's saying this. It's completely inappropriate. And, you know, it was, but I think maybe commenting on Crystal's size, clothing, what you know, those things in general maybe are inappropriate. And I've learned something that some people actually do not like you commenting on weight loss, weight gain, obviously weight gain, but you know, you just keep your mouth shut. You know, I'm the type of person, like, you know, I am on a weight loss journey, so like please tell me, please, please tell me if I look like I lost weight, okay? I need to know because it motivates me. Like but I'm also that person who'll be like, do I look thinner today? So I probably don't even give you the chance to tell me that you think I look good, because I'm like I'm like posing and like trying to suck it, like, oh wait, who, me? Oh yeah, just lost 6 pounds. You know, that's me. Not everybody wants that. Some people, it's very personal. They, you know, if you notice they've lost weight, maybe they're like offended by that or something, or I don't know. But the scene ends with Erica getting they deliver some chicken strips, and Erica makes a flippant comment like, Crystal, you can't eat one, you can't have one. And then it's like, to be continued. So we don't know. My little one's about to walk in. We don't know. Mommy's almost done. We don't know how that's gonna really like pan out until tonight's episode, but I'm pretty sure they are going to give her heck. So the episode is probably going to continue with us being at Diana's party. I'm interested to see what happens. I'm interested to see really how Erica clears up this comment about Crystal can't have a chicken strip and what happens moving forward. So we got, after this episode though, the mid-season trailer, and it looks really good. We're going to dive into the Kathy Hilton stuff. It looks like we're going to get more Renna, because honey, we did not get a lot of Renna out of this episode, and this is like 3 episodes and I'm not missing her. This show is moving along just fine without her. Moving along just fine without Renna. So I'm just saying. With that said, I am going to go, and I am going to take care of some business, probably eat dinner. And if you like this video, subscribe, comment, like. I appreciate it. Have a good night, and I will be back to recap tonight's episode and hopefully have that up by Friday. Bye.